What's up, everybody? This is your girl CC with Where It Begins Magazine, and I got a special guest on the line with me today. I'm gonna let her introduce herself and who she is and what she does.
Hi, I am Tina Muir. I am a mother, a business owner, a former elite professional runner, and a human, I suppose.
Well, how did you get into your career? How did you get into running and everything? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
I started running age 14, and I wasn't really loving it. It wasn't something that I immediately loved doing, but I pretty quickly showed that I had some talent in there. And through that, I started to enjoy it, as we tend to do when we are good at something. And I climbed up enough to where I was offered scholarships to go to the US. And then with that opportunity, I was afforded, a full ride scholarship because of the level I had reached. And I was really excited to be able to come over here to the US to see what I could do. And then from there, I did my undergraduate degree here, stayed here, loved it. I've moved around within the US a bit, but then ended up being a professional athlete. And I did that for a few years until I kind of was reaching a burnout point after so many years of training. My health wasn't good. And I ended up quitting professional sport in 2017, not long after running for Great Britain in a world championship, which was my ultimate goal. And when that happened, I thought maybe that was it. No one would ever be interested in learning anything from me, but it actually turned out to be the opposite, that giving back to the community and sharing my experiences and what I had learned allowed me to start this business, but also to find new meaning in a sport that all I'd ever known was about the outcome and the finish. So, yeah.
Wow, and congratulations. Look, that's a lot of that's a journey right there. But
Yeah.
woo. So tell us about the marathons, and how you guys started with that.
Yeah, so just in college, the highest anyone really goes is 10,000 meters, which is 6.2 miles. But I'd always known that I loved going longer than that. During my long runs, I always felt that was going to be my future. So after doing a few half marathons, which is 13 miles, I ended up trying the marathon. Spectacularly blew up and did not do what I hoped I would do. But I learned a lot of lessons and then continued to improve over the following marathons. I've now actually only done 6 or 7, so I'm not that experienced in them. But yeah, I continue to climb up within the kings, and yeah, each one is a challenge, but an enjoyable one to learn about who you are.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Well, let's talk about your podcast, and the motivation behind your podcast show.
Yeah, so around that time when I said I stopped running, I was having health issues. I hadn't had a menstrual period in 9 years due to restrictive eating and thinking that I needed to look a certain way to be fast, which obviously was not the case. But I continued to follow that path. And so when I stopped running, I that I wanted to launch this business, and what I was known for beyond my running was hosting a podcast for a company I worked for, but I wanted to do it on my own, where I could go out and ask the questions that I want to know. This, CC, how good it feels to follow your own curiosity and think about what other people would want to know about someone. So I started doing that, and fortunately, I was quite early in the game of podcasting, and so I was able to grow it pretty quickly. And although, of course, never as quickly as we hope it grows. Over the years, it evolved from more being about, while still keeping a running thread, it evolved about more than just the training and what the life of a runner, into the human behind the running, or the person beyond what we saw in results. So I've really enjoyed that process, and now I'm focused on uplifting voices within the running space who haven't ever been given the opportunity to share their story. So that's really where my passion is lying. So it's been evolving, but in a way that feels natural to me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I did listen to some of your podcasts. I love it. I love what you're doing. Continue that journey, really, especially
Thank
because
you.
it's more of like a mental health, and talking to those people and getting it out. So I definitely salute to you and say congratulations. But what has been the biggest challenge you've had so far, starting your podcast, just in your journey, period?
I think I would say it was that when you are an athlete, or many of us who are raised to be quite competitive and are very, you know what you want, you go get what you want, you don't quit no matter what. I think I had always felt that quitting was for, I hate to say it, but quitting was for losers. Quitting was for people who couldn't hack it. Quitting, I'd always felt that that was the weak way out. But as I said, when I quit the sport, when I left the sport, I felt like that was the bravest decision I ever made. And it was the hardest decision I ever made. And it really helped me to see that sometimes leaving the thing that you love, or used to love, or leaving something that has brought you so much, but it is time to step away from, is actually not only the scariest thing that you can do, but the best thing that you need to do. And so I think for me, that was such a challenge to take that leap of faith, not knowing what was going to happen next, and having my whole identity been tied up in this person who runs very fast. I wasn't sure where it was going to come out of that, but I feel like it's made me so much of a better person by learning to say that just because I quit something doesn't make me a quitter.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let's talk about motherhood and how that comes a part of your journey and your future.
Yeah, so not long after I did stop running, I became pregnant with my first daughter. I now have two daughters,
Okay.
and I love being a parent. I mean, it definitely has its challenges in terms of
Yeah.
my girls are 1 and 3 right now. It doesn't leave me much time to do other things. They need a lot, and I'm recording this while the 1-year-old is sleeping right now, hoping she doesn't wake up. It's all about juggling.
Right.
But it's made me become a better person in so many ways, and I love knowing that I have the opportunity to bring up 2 little people in this world that can continue moving things in the direction we want it to go, that can keep bringing equity and making the world we want it to be, the world we believe it can be. So it's exciting to be able to, watch them grow and see who they become.
Facts. Understandable. But what has been one of your biggest accomplishments or memorable award that you have received in your career and life?
I wouldn't say it was an award as such, but as I mentioned, running for Great Britain, that was something that I set for myself age 14, that I wanted to do. And it took me 14 years to get there. So I would say that was my dangling carrot for so many years. I held that in front of me. I thought about it when I was having a bad day. And so to do it, I remember running around that course on that day and hearing a little boy saying, "Go GB." I was dreaming of, envisioning, and now knowing that I was in that moment, that was a pretty special one. And I having everyone in my life being so excited to look for me on TV, and just to know that all those years of hard work had come together for that moment.
Awesome. Well, what would you tell your younger self right now? If you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell yourself?
I'm honestly, I'm one of those people where I don't know what I would say, because I feel like even if I could go back to talk to my younger self, I wouldn't listen, because I wasn't ready to learn those lessons yet. So I don't know if there is anything specific I would say. However, I think if I was going to say something, it would be something along the lines of, like, everything that feels so serious right now is really not as big as you think, and the way that you're going to get through most of the challenging things ahead of you is by staying true to your heart. But again, I don't know if I would have listened if I'd said that.
But maybe you would have. Who knows? Who knows? But how was your experience being in the book, Be You? Because that's actually how I end up reading one of your stories, because I'm a bookworm. So I read the book Be You, and I was like, wow. So how was your experience being in that book?
Yeah, I'd always read Chicken Soup for the Souls, and you know, maybe not every book, but I'd loved the idea behind it and what it meant and how it changed lives. So yeah, being given the opportunity to write my story and be included and know that I can have the potential to speak to people all over the world who are trying to stay true to who they are. That message I just said about I would tell my younger self, and I think that's what we're all striving for, is exactly that, to be us, be who we are. And so it was great to be able to share that little piece of my journey and know that maybe someone would be touched by it, and it would encourage them to change their own life. So yeah, it was exciting.
Okay. So what has been the best advice that you've ever received in your life?
This is funny with having written the questions, I can't remember what I said now. I would say, yeah, I really can't remember what I said. I would say it is something about following your heart, following your gut. I'm not sure if it was a specific person, but just about, you know, the answer. It's within you. You feel it in your body. We just have to have the courage to listen.
Okay. So, where do you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years?
Oh, that's tricky. I try to stay away from thinking in that way when I can, because of spending my whole life being goal driven and being like having these numbers in front of me or obsessing over specific details to get to these goals. I'm in this period of my life where I don't have specific goals. That said, I would like to have Running for Real be a community, the biggest community in the world of runners who are socially conscious, who care about what they're going to be, and be known as someone within the space who is changing the world through running. Running as the medium to social change. I've definitely seen the power in that, and that's where we're moving towards. But I'd love to be established as that within that time.
Okay, and do you have any upcoming events or projects that you're working on?
I mean, we're working on quite a few things behind the scenes, but we're looking at doing more in-person events and small groups, hopefully, depending on how things go next year. But I've realized in the last few years that I much prefer small events that are not so overwhelming to people attending. I love having that one-on-one time to get to know individuals within a group. So we're definitely focusing on some of those ways. And I do these things called together runs, where I literally go on a run with a microphone and people join me in their headphones. And it's been really special. People have really been appreciating it, and I've been enjoying it. So I'd love if we could, we will be continuing to figure out new ways to develop those. So I think those are the two focuses for 2022.
Okay. And where are some places that you would like to take this journey? Like, would you like to take it all over the world? Like, where are some other places you would like to take your marathons, your cool runnings?
Where I would like to run, or with, you mean in terms of the business?
It's both. Okay. Really.
I mean, I love to travel. I love to experience new places. So I would love to go to as many places as I can around the world. But I Yeah, I don't have any races specifically that are I mean, I would like to do the Tokyo Marathon and the Berlin Marathon, but yeah, I just want to see what opportunities come to me. I wouldn't turn down, going to do a marathon in India or Nepal or
Right.
some kind of running experience there. So I really would love to check out places all over the world, not just the touristy spots. Um, and then with the business, yeah, I hope we continue to grow worldwide to where we can support people from wherever they are, especially those in places that don't have a lot of opportunities to connect with other runners. So yeah, I guess watch this space.
Okay, all right. Well, it's going to come to you because you're doing great things. So I believe it's coming for
Thank
you.
you.
So be prepared. But how would
And
you
same to
define
you,
your
Cece.
purpose? Thank you. Thank you. How would you define your purpose?
It's funny, I have a quote right above
Excuse
my
me.
computer screen saying, "The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away." And it's a Pablo Picasso quote. And I love that because I think that is my purpose, is to help people to feel they are a part of something, they belong, and that they should, that they don't need to be anyone else to be loved, that they're perfectly imperfect just as they are. So I think it would be something about that I'm trying to find a way to help show people that they are a bright shining light just as they are, if they can only allow themselves to see it.
Okay. Okay. I like that quote. I need that. You're going to have to send it to me so I can have it right up there. I like to do affirmations and stuff like that. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
That's
a good
really,
one.
really good.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, is there one message? What is one message you would like to tell your fans right now, or your supporters, if you use that word instead?
I think it would just be that it's okay to not be okay. As I mentioned with the quitting, if something doesn't feel right, it's okay to step away from that. If you are struggling right now, it's okay to admit that. Even if it's just in a journal for now until you can use the words. So I think it would just be to sometimes the greatest act of courage is to stop doing or to step away from something that you love, if it feels like it's the right thing for you to do. So I'd encourage them to trust themselves. And if something doesn't feel right, it probably isn't.
Awesome, awesome. Well, usually I do a game at the end of here. Okay, so if you could travel in a time machine, what year would you go to and why?
Oh, wow. What year would I go to? I would probably time machine backwards. Um, I would probably go to the year before my grandma passed away, the one, my dad's mum, who's had a lot of influence on me in my life, just to be able to spend some time with her. She passed away very suddenly, and I wasn't able to say goodbye. I was in the US, and I didn't get to see her for quite a while before. So I think I would spend some time with her and just dig into her story a bit more, as much as I could get out of her, and just, yeah, be with her. So I think that would probably be it.
Okay. Well, definitely prayers to you. I know how it feels to lose a loved one. So prayers to you on
Thank you.
that. Okay. And the last question is, if you could switch places with one person for one day, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. I think I would switch places with someone who was a real the two people if you'll let me pass with this that come to mind are Tash and Nungshi Malik, who are these two women from India who have done these incredible feats of endurance, and they are inspiring so many people around the world. And I would love to just get to see the world through their eyes as they get to do all these really impressive things, but also they're doing it for a greater reason than someone here in the US might be doing, just because they're trying to make change for girls in India and the way that they view sports and leadership. So probably those two, Tash and Nungshi.
Okay, well, I can still see yourself doing those kind of things, because that's what you do. Basically, you inspire others, and you make a difference in the world, in the community. So I definitely see you doing those things too. Definitely.
Thank you. Same to you, Cece.
Thanks. Thanks. But before we get off of this interview, please tell everybody where they can follow you and how they can sign up for your marathons and podcasts.
Yeah, so I can be found on Instagram at Tina Muir 88, as in the number 88. I am also on Facebook, although less active there. And I think the best place to go would be runningforreal.com, which is the word for runningforreal.com. And you will find pretty much everything you need from there. So that's what I would tell people.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to say thanks for interviewing with me. Also, thanks for being in the magazine. Continue your journey. I wish you nothing but success for 2022. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say thank you, Cece.